Hi, I'm Martin, and I have a big problem. This is the pile. As you can see, I buy way too many anime models, and I gotta get these guys out of their boxes. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna open all these boxes just for you. Welcome to Cate Frenzy. Hello every pony. Once again we are bringing you another review of My Little Pony Bishoujo. This week it is Fluttershy. I know we have been doing a lot more pony reviews as of late, but there's just so many I have in my pile that I decided to just get rid of them all at once. So we still have a couple more ponies to go. This week is Fluttershy, and let's just talk about the box. So for Fluttershy, her box is pretty much the same as the other boxes. We have the white box with the nice big pretty window in front, and we also have the rainbow. Fluttershy's rainbow is very nice because it's a pastel color. It's got like teals and yellows and pinks and like really light greens, so I do like that. And then we also have the picture of Fluttershy on the bottom here as well, which is the Shunya Yamashita art, the person in charge of the Bishoujo designs from Kotobukiya. And then if you go to the side, normally we have a cutie mark, and we do have a cutie mark this time around. We have Fluttershy's butterfly. We have the upper window, which is showing you into the figure's box. And then on the back, we have images of the figure that you're getting. Basically just pictures of the front and back and the pony. And on the side, we have the Shunya Yamashita art that shows off Fluttershy in her art form. And then for the box itself, again, it has the pony wallpaper. So we have the different cutie marks all over the wall. We have like the butterflies, we have the balloons, we have the apples, we have the rain clouds. So it's pretty much similar to the other boxes in the line. It's not anything special compared to the other boxes. This box is more in line with Applejack and Pinkie Pie's box. So it's about the same size. While once again, the Twilight Sparkle and Sunset boxes are a bit bigger. So for the box, we're gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. It matches up with the other boxes. It pretty much has the same look. So they're all gonna get pretty much the same score because you know what? They are all the same. So there's no point in giving them different scores because they're pretty much all the same. I think the only difference really is the windows. Like, they're the only big difference. The Fluttershy butterfly one's pretty cute because, you know, Fluttershy is a very cute character, so the butterfly really enhances that. Now we can go on to the packaging. So for packaging wise, we have a piece of tape at the top. Cut that out. Then we have to just pop this open. We have the thing here as usual, the scallop. And then we're gonna pop her out. So for Fluttershy's box, ooh, this one's different too. So this one actually has yellow and green inside the inner box. Show you on here side too. See this yellow and green. Once again, we have the two pieces of plastic holding her inside the box. And then there's also the face window as usual too. The face window, again, I'm not a big fan of. If you happen to puncture the box during shipping, then the face will get damaged because that face is not protected at all. And as you can see, the character is mostly covered in plastic, so it's like not really super protected. They don't have any bubble wrap against this figure. So these figures aren't like the greatest packaged, but you know, they do what they do, and the space between helps to lessen any impact during shipping, so like that's okay as well. This one has the 6-button layout for the box, so this one is a little bit more secure, I guess, compared to Pinkie's box, which had 4, if you remember. So the tape just goes all the way around the plastic, and we're just gonna open this up. At this point, it's pretty much procedural that you know what's gonna happen now. If you've been watching the show, we have the plastic, we take off the plastic. So Fluttershy is covered in plastic. She feels a little wobbly right off the bat. A plastic bag that covers her entire body, so we just take that out. And then we have a giant piece of plastic that enshrouds her hair. See that? Okay, literally just pulls right off. And then for the pony portion, we also have plastic as well that just goes across the pony, and we can just take that off like so. Packaging wise, basically there's 3 sets of plastic bags, nothing too special, like pretty much an 8 out of 10. It's got decent packaging, does need bubble wrap, does need face protection. That's pretty much all we need to know about the packaging. No stand formation for this one because she's already attached to the stand, so we don't have to worry about any of that interfering with the figure. So far, Pinky's was the only one that was detachable, which is very strange. Guess they had a lot of feedback, and then Pinky's one didn't work out very well. So we have this Fluttershy instead that's already pre-attached to the base, and the base is quite strong, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so now that we got Fluttershy out of her box, we can talk about her stats. Fluttershy comes to us from Kotobukiya. She was $142 Canadian, so she was basically $101, and with $27 shipping from Ami Ami in Japan. She stands just over 9 inches tall, with a base that's similar to the rest of them at 4 inches across. She came out in December of 2019, so she's been out for quite a long time, and she is probably the most requested figure to be remade into a figure because it sold out really quite quickly. Alright, so let's move on to the sculpt and the paint. For Fluttershy, I do want to mention something right off the bat, and that is Fluttershy's colors are vibrant, but there is one color that is very irking to me, and that is the yellow. Fluttershy's yellow is very dull. It doesn't look like the right yellow that it's normally supposed to be, so when I took this out of the box, the first thing I immediately noticed was the yellow was very dull. It is not as nice as the other ponies and is not as vibrant. Despite her having the very bright teals and pinks, her yellows look really dull, and that really kind of set me off a little bit with this figure because I was like, it doesn't have the right yellow shade. It actually looks kind of washed out, and that doesn't set off a good vibe right off the bat with this figure. So Fluttershy's hair, it has a lot of volume to it. There's actually a lot more lines, I feel like, than the other characters. It's along the lines of Pinky's, but there's actually a lot more line work done in this figure, and that's because Fluttershy is known to have really gorgeous hair. And it's really funny because in the show they mentioned that Fluttershy actually has hair extensions and that she doesn't actually have the super long luscious mane, so I thought that was pretty funny. Like her back ponytail has extensions in it. This figure kind of looks like that, like it has these pieces, especially like this back piece here that goes all the way out. This one's a little weird. I don't know if I like this piece because it just goes like from here to this big bunch, and you kind of feel like it naturally should go like down to here, but this one kind of just goes off like that. In general, the hair does seem like it has a lot more line work in it than the other figures, but the problem with this hair is that it doesn't sit right on the head. So if you look at the anatomy of Fluttershy's head, so you can see that the head sticks up quite a bit. So this is her face, right? If you look at the skull shape of her head, it should not be that high up, and I feel like you can distinctly tell that if there was hair extensions, this part right here would be the part that's the extension, because like this looks normal right here, but there's a clear line where it's like this is an additional piece, and it makes her head stick up really high. Like her skull is like somewhere up here. It's like giant like caveman style skull. It doesn't look right. Her head's like leaning downward. Because of that, they compensate with the hair being up high. The hair is like very big and bouncy, but it also makes her head look like it's very misshapen. It doesn't look right. I also don't like the top of the hair, like the way it cresses along the back, like it kind of folds back into like a V, and that actually kind of looks wrong a little bit. Like it makes sense in realistic ways, it makes sense, but it also looks kind of off. Like it feels like it shouldn't be like that, and it also makes the lines look not as clean as they could be. As you can see, like there's a couple of like misshaped lines, and it just kind of doesn't look like the back part was done very well. It looks like it was just kind of added on, so the line work doesn't look as clean up top. So that is something that I noticed right at the bat. Also, if you look really close at her bangs, like the inner side of her bangs has issues as well. it's not as nice. It's actually a little bit less smooth than the rest of the hair as well. And that also makes the hair look bad because the bangs are not smooth and they feel like they're also not fully lined out. Like they should be a little bit higher up, like the line work on the bang itself should be a little bit higher. It doesn't look right that way either. So the hair to me has a lot of different issues right off the bat. Another thing that doesn't really sit quite right with me is the accessory butterfly in her hair. The accessory butterfly, it looks really cheap. Like it looks pretty much like something you would find on a general My Little Pony figure, but even cheaper than that. So it doesn't look like it's pretty much well put in, and not to mention the paint job on it. There's also like a slight blob of paint that goes up onto it as well, and again, these are small accessories. You expect there to be some kind of bleeding, but this one is just kind of like really crappy in general, so when you look at it, it doesn't look as nice. And because the paint job is also splotched, it's more noticeable because it's such a simple paint job. It's only 2 colors, so there has to be something, either better paint or a better shape or better like color design, because like it really just doesn't look right on her hair. I feel like also Shunya probably decided to have it right here. I feel like it should be like up here, maybe on top of the head. So like this figure, I don't like this accessory. I feel like I would want to rip it off and not keep it there and put it like up here somewhere, because it feels more appropriate up here than down there. So that's just a minor thing that I have about this figure. Some people might like the butterfly there, but I feel like it's there to hide like the weird shaped bangs being just so far out right. It just doesn't look quite right. The face in this figure isn't the nicest. I don't think it matches quite well with the other ones. I feel like it's in the category of Twilight and Sunset, where the face doesn't quite match the character. One thing about it already I mentioned is that, you know, of course it's being pushed back further into her body. So like it's a bit smushed in terms of where it should be on the body. But in general, I don't like this face. I just don't. And I can tell you why. There's a couple of different reasons. One, the face is shrunken in from the side. And 2, the eyebrows are the really short eyebrows that Japan does. I like that kind of eyebrow, but not for Fluttershy. I feel like Fluttershy would have a really long eyebrow. In fact, I feel like Fluttershy would have a very thick eyebrow because I feel like that's the type of person she is. It seems to be a little bit more Shunya's preference than the character's. I don't know, this face doesn't do it for me. There's something off with this face and I don't know what it is about it. It's just that it makes her look not quite right, just the expression. It's like bashful. She just doesn't seem like Fluttershy. I know what you're thinking. You're expecting some kind of crazy outburst about Fluttershy. But you know what? You don't get that because Fluttershy is like one of the most stable characters in this show. She is like very gentle. She handles things very maturely. She thinks things through. If anything, she only has to deal with herself because that's mainly her main issue, is her own problem, which is just her shyness. But there's one thing you should know. You should never fuck with Fluttershy.
Oh, no you don't! Cut in line, I'll take what's mine! No pony pushes new Fluttershy around! No pony!
But her face, I think because of her hair, makes her face seem really long. As for you move down the body, you have her necklace, which is this pink butterfly necklace. It's a cool detail that it's there. It's a little bit off center. I just wish that it was on top of the dress rather than the bottom of the dress. Should have these things more front and center, I feel like, so it makes the character look more poppin'. The color in the dress is nice. I like the dress color. It's really quite nice and it has good fabric line design. And of course there's the cutie marks on the side. Fluttershy's cutie mark is butterflies, and that's because Fluttershy is all about the animals. I don't know how butterflies correlates to all the animals. Fluttershy's main thing is that she can communicate with animals, and that's why she's great with any kind of animal. Fluttershy is a very meek character, and so it shows off in her pose, where she's a little bit more timid with her hands clasped. The hands themselves, they're quite nicely done. One finger, pinky finger, sticking up, which I thought was kind of a weird thing to do, but it adds a little bit of character, so I guess that's okay, but like it's just kind of weird to see. The dress itself, it's painted quite well. The belt, there is a little butterfly belt. I feel like, again, all of Fluttershy's accessories are mispainted. They're very cheaply done, so they don't look as nice, and I don't like that about her accessories. The colors are nice and vibrant, but they're just painted so dully that it looks kind of plain. When you have a figure that has such complex hair, and then you have like these cheap accessories and like the vivid lines on the dress, it just kind of clashes to me because like you can clearly see where effort was put in and effort wasn't, so it's not like an overall nice product design together. That's kind of upsetting about this figure, is because like the accessories don't match the figure. And the same with the yellow frill on the skirt. It's actually a little bit more dirty than the rest of the figure, so I feel like that's also a problem with this one, because like it just feels like the shading on it is really dirty. Like they added some kind of really dark yellow to it, and it comes off looking more dirty than it does shaded. And you had that same problem with the pony once I get there. The weird thing too is that the back of her skirt, there's like this weird X right there. And I'm like, the rest of the lines go straight down vertically, right? But there's this weird X crest in the back of her dress. Why is that there? Why do you have to include that? Like, it doesn't need to be there. I think that's what really bothers me about this figure, is that it seems like an afterthought of the figure. And Fluttershy is one of my favorite characters because she's such a unique character. So I'm pretty sure for most of you who are watching this are already quite aware of this fact, but I'm gonna mention it anyways. So Fluttershy is our resident cutie. She's very quiet and she's very shy, and she talks like this because she's pretty sure that every other pony would be better off without her, and she could just stay in the corner with all the other animals. That'd be just great, you know? But the thing is, she is the most polar opposite of characters like Pinkie Pie, who wants to make sure that Mr. and Mrs. Cake get all their fun, and that Carrot Cake and Pound Cake get all their fun as well, and that Applejack doesn't go crazy eating apples, and that Rarity gets all the fun without having to deal with all the fashion, and that Twilight doesn't go fun and crazy reading her books, and that Rainbow Dash doesn't have to. And the thing is, I can't even keep up with Pinkie Pie's voice and Fluttershy's voice going back and forth between them, but Andrea Libman can, because these two characters are actually voiced by the same voice actress. And it is impressive because even I just lost breath trying to keep up with Fluttershy's very quiet little voice and Pinkie Pie's super fast voice talking about Rainbow Dash and Rarity and and that's so impressive that Andrew can, because like when she switches between the two of them, like it is insane. And like this is why voice acting is a tough gig. It's not just talking, people. It's not. So yeah, like Fluttershy's whole look about her, it should be a bit better, I feel like. Again, with this figure, she has a giant wide open skirt, which means you can probably see underneath. So for her, they went with the route of having her have bloomers just like Pinkie. So she actually has yellow bloomers like Pinkie Pie. So that's fun too. So that keeps up with the tradition of having more modest undergarment, especially for Fluttershy. She's a very modest character, so it really fits with the character. For her boots, she has like the little ribbons. The pink ribbons are nice, and then like her shoes have these like little butterflies on it as well, like you can see right there. The butterflies on here don't look super neat either. They look also cheap. Her shoes, her belt, her necklace, they all look cheap. It's weird because the cheapness also reminds you of the original Hasbro toys. These are My Little Pony figures, so the accessories should look like cheap crap. So it's like, maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe that's why they look the way they do, because they just made it simple. Maybe Hasbro said they should look like that. When discussions come to figures being turned into others, especially this line, an animated figure being made from American Western standards, there's probably some back and forth between the companies which decide on what colors come out in how the final product comes out looking, so that probably also influences why the accessories look the way they do. Maybe it's kind of a nod to the original design, and if it's in that sense, then I guess that's okay. But again, for collectors, it doesn't look the greatest. It looks really cheap and it throws off the entire design, because the rest of the figure could look nice. Now for Fluttershy, the pony, this pony is like, it's kind of the worst one out of all the ponies, I have to say. I'm just gonna straight out say it. The body shape of this Fluttershy seems really squished. It seems a lot smaller. The hair is nice. The hair is fantastic. It looks great. From all sides, it has really good angles and it has great line work. I don't really see much problem with it. It has really nice curvatures to it. It actually looks a bit smoother than the figure's top hair. The eyes do have the 3D eyelashes, which are always a favorite. The face is pretty okay. It's a bit wider than usual too, I feel like, but the face itself looks pretty okay. The only thing, again, I have problems with is this color. It is so washed out. Like if you just kind of put her next to Sunset, you can see that her yellow isn't as vibrant, and it's just really muted. Like I don't know why they decided to make Fluttershy so muted compared to the rest of the ponies. It feels really dark. Cutie Mark, on the other hand, are quite well done, and the pinks are done well too, but the yellow is a main issue here. It just seems really dark. The wings are sculpted nicely. They have great little bits of feather in them as well. The pose is okay. I don't mind the pose. The pose is cute. She has this bunny named Angel, and I kind of wish Angel was with her, like maybe like right here on the corner maybe. Angel's like almost always around Fluttershy compared to the other pets. Like we don't see Winona, Applejack's dog, or Gummy a lot, but we do see Angel a lot because Angel's always with Fluttershy. So, yo, Angel's a bitch straight up. Maybe Angel would have helped offset this a little bit if Angel was there like right here in the corner. You know what? I like the base. It's just a single color pink, and then there's a whole bunch of butterflies, yellow and white. Another like darker pink as well. So there's a couple different colors of the butterflies. It does look a little bit more pony-like, I guess you could say, because it's so pink. I feel like this one's a little bit nicer than Applejack's. It's kind of along the lines of Pinkie Pie's, where it's a little bit more happy. And I think it's just because the butterflies, they're the vector butterflies, so they're not like super expressive, but like again, they're pretty okay. And with the base, as you can see, she's pretty much in there, even though it's such a flat base. There's like these 4 pegs on the bottom that hold her into the figure. I still want to know, how did they do this? It is such a sturdy base, despite it being so thin. Oh, okay. Sculpt. 7 out of 10. Oof, that sounds rough. It does sound rough, but there is problems like her face, her hair, her accessories, and just the weird lines in some places on the hair, on the skirt. There's some weird things going on here, and like even the butterflies on her shoes look kind of off. So a 7 out of 10 for Sculpt. Paint wise, a 7 out of 10 as well, because like the yellows are really bothering me in this one, and the accessories as well. The accessories and the yellows are really bothersome in this one, and they really stick out too much. So this one definitely deserves a 7 out of 10 for paint job. Now, if you want to go for like overall appeal, between the 4 I've already opened, I feel like Fluttershy isn't the best one. I actually feel like she's the worst, and Twilight is second in that category, then Sunset, and then it goes Applejack and Pinkie Pie. So in terms of strength, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They should redo the color work on Fluttershy and maybe retool some of the design on her. I feel like she deserves a redo because she doesn't look the nicest, and there's a lot of different problems with this one that I just don't like. Color, sculpt, face, all sorts of things. So overall appeal of this figure is a 7 out of 10, unfortunately. Not the greatest. The total score is 38 out of 50, which is a 76%. Oh boy, this is such an awful score for this figure. I wish I could give it a higher score, but I don't like this figure as much as the other ones, and it really sucks that I love Fluttershy. Overall, this figure does need a lot more work. Again, if they want to retool her, please do. Kotobukiya, we deserve a better Fluttershy. This is not the greatest of your work. We hope that the other ones like Rarity and Rainbow Dash will look better, but we'll have to see once we open them, which will be coming in the next week's video. So if you're wanting to see those ones, check out next week. If you want to check out the other 4, they've fared a lot better than Fluttershy. The videos are going to be in the review link at the end after my message of the week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Cate Frenzy. We will see you again next week, and that's all I have to say. Toodaloo!